Hello and welcome to InvestorToday.ca. I'm your host, Dave Glover. InvestorToday.ca is brought to you in conjunction with RBL Communications, your online IR professionals. Dateline, April 8th. 2013, drilling underway at the Kaburi Gold Project, Guyana, South America. This is a news release that was released by Tajiri Resources Corp. Tajiri, which trades on the TSX under the symbol TAJ. And we are happy to welcome to the line Graham Keevil, who is the president and CEO of Tajiri Resources Corp. Graham, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dave. It's great to be back on Investor Today.
Well, we're glad to hear you, especially, we've just did that initial report, I guess last week. It was probably out earlier today on Guyana's golden luster and the benefit to working with your neighbors. And I guess you're going to take us to the next step on that as drilling is now underway. Can we talk about that?
Absolutely. And, the company's very excited to embark on this, our first pass drilling of the Kaburi project, where we've been working consistently since this past July to identify targets, which obviously we have done, embarking on this 3,000-meter program that will be actually the first opportunity we get to test our theory of the in-situ gold system that we believe is present in the area. And I think that it's extra exciting if you've been watching sort of the Guyana scene over the last couple of weeks. There's been some major news from our neighbors, Azimuth, who had previously delineated the 1.65 million ounces at the Smerts and Hicks deposits within their West Omai project. Mm-hmm. Those are now the subject to a takeover, or Azimuth is subject to the takeover based on those two deposits by another Australian gold producer called Troy Resources. And I think the significance for Tajiri of that is really that it does show a commitment to develop a mine in the area. Not only will it be developed, but in a context of distance, it's less than 2.5 kilometers from some of our proposed drill targets, which really, in a mining sense, is a stone throw. And you have to imagine if there's an open pit within that distance of your project, that anything you find there, the value becomes magnified for your shareholders. So our hope is to get these drills in there. We'll do about 25 to 30 holes and really get a good idea of what we're on top of. And if everything proves successful, which we are highly confident that it will, our shareholders should be in a position to benefit substantially from our findings.
Well, those are the listeners that follow InvestorToday.ca know that I recently posted a interview with Brent Cook and Mickey Fulp, and one thing that they talked about, consistently is the fact that it's great to have a project that's moving forward. But grade is king, and grade will always be king. And we're talking about some pretty high-grade ore here, aren't we?
Absolutely, and I think unique to the Guyana exploration sector as a whole, thus far anyway, is the near-surface nature of some of these high-grade deposits that we have in this West Omai area, where also our Kaburi PL is located. If you look at the old Omai mine, really the only hard rock producer, and it's less than 70 kilometers to the south of us. You look at some of the other deposits in the country, and a lot of the good grades don't really begin to pop up until you get substantially deeper into the bedrock, upwards of 500 meters in the case of Aurora, which really limits your development potential. You're going to have to mine low-grade, near-surface stuff to start with, which generally, from an economic point of view, doesn't make a lot of sense. So unique in the sense that Azimuth, or Troy in this case, will be developing something that's high-grade, near-surface. They can basically start to make cash flow right away, profitably, one would assume, and it really puts Tajiri in the position where if we're able to prove any sort of ounces on our side of the fence, you have to imagine that it will all go into the same pot of development at the end of the day.
Well, the information that you're just about to release, or that will be released, I guess, when this interview goes out, these are results from November of 2012. But again, some pretty significant assay results. Gold taken from the lithological exposures at the Kaburi location. Can we talk a little bit about those numbers and what they are in terms of indicators?
Well, they basically are representative of what we will be targeting in our drilling. Essentially, on the project, as is typical to the area, we had substantial amounts of artisanal mining, having gone on over the last 10, 20 years in the area. Mm-hmm. This has exposed what you typically don't get to see down in Guyana, which is bedrock and laterite formations that are actually indicative of in-situ gold mineralization at depth. So where we're pulling 15 grams, 9 grams, so forth, as detailed in the release there, we're hopeful that with the drill we'll be able to get in, drill those areas, and have those kind of grades extend below where we were able to access through the panel sampling that we conducted. I think maybe the market had missed those results a little bit. Obviously, things haven't been, roses out there the last couple of months, mm-hmm. but good projects will always speak for themselves, and we're confident that through this drilling we'll be able to place Tajiri among the stories of, potential winners in a market that seems to be filled with losers.
Well, absolutely. And, like Brent and Mickey were talking about again from Cambridge House, there's a lot of itchy investors out there, a lot of people itching to get their money into a hot property, a hot prospect, a great project. And, obviously Tajiri, given what's happening in the neighborhood, and we like to talk about these great neighborhoods, but given what's happening down there, it stands to reason that, with the share structure as it is right now and the share price, that this could be a windfall for anyone looking for a particularly exciting venture.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the market's a little bit hesitant these days to adopt anything early. They always want to see the proof in the pudding, if you will, prior to making that big push and getting on the buy side. And I think this is the point in the Tajiri story where we really can create that kind of momentum in the market. A lot of times these writers, they talk about area plays, you're next to this guy, you're next to that. We're now next to a mine that is going to be developed over the next 4 years, bottom line. Any gold we discover on our project can only add value to that development. The only sort of chance outside of that where perhaps we wouldn't go into the main development would be if we discovered something that was of standalone size on our own, and then our options open up a little bit as to how we can move forward. All intents and purposes are to get the drill in there, continue drilling. If we find anything towards a resource by the end of 18 months from now, and we'll see where we stand at that point. But I really do think for investors, given the price of Tajiri today and the potential success that we could meet in this program, it's one that I'd have no hesitancy to recommend as possibly taking a position into the market right now.
Absolutely. Well, and as you said, you're close to what is going to become a producing mine. There has been past production in your area, particularly on Peruni. We know that there's been some alluvial mining. Now, given the difficulty it has been to raise money and to raise awareness on a project like this, has there been some consideration of the company itself doing some alluvial mining, maybe hoping to finance additional work over the next 18 months?
Well, we've looked at that, and I think we'll continue to sort of balance the risk-reward scenario of actually moving forward with it. We do have certain areas on the project that are already mining licenses as opposed to prospecting leases, so we could move forward right away. We're going to see what happens in this drilling. We have a lot of, obviously, things to consider now with the Troy takeover of Azimuth, whether we need to sort of open a bag of trouble, which the alluvial mining tends to be for a public company or not, we'll see. But I really want to lean on the point that going into alluvial production wouldn't be the end game of the company. I think that a lot of times if maybe you think your project doesn't warrant further development work from a hard rock mining point of view, you sort of fall back on that as a way to save yourself. But I really feel that the Kaburi, as we got into the opportunity in the first place for, has the potential to be a big takeout deal where we can essentially do the classic go in, drill something off, sell it, and everybody wins.
Absolutely. It's a win-win for everybody. I've been speaking with Graham Keevil. He is the president and CEO of Tajiri Resources Corp. Tajiri, which trades on the TSX under the symbol TAJ. We've been talking about the drilling that is underway at their Kaburi property, their gold project in Guyana, South America, located directly, as a matter of fact, in the heart of Troy or Azimuth's Smarts and Hicks. This is obviously a very exciting time, and just the knowledge that alluvial mining is a possibility is something that can tweak people's attention. I want to thank Graham for being with us today. Graham, always a pleasure. Anytime you have news, obviously you want to give us a call. We'd be more than happy to get you out there and get that story in front of as many people as possible.
Thank you very much, Dave, and just a heads up to everybody, keep an eye out for the results from the ongoing drilling sometime in late May.
There you go, late May. Thank you again, viewers and listeners. This is Dave Glover for InvestorToday.ca. We'll see you next time.